John, very good to see you. Today, we're going to talk through 5 planning mistakes that you really need to avoid. According to Bankrate.com, nearly 3/4 of U.S. adults report at least one financial regret. So today, we're going to break down the top 5. You've been doing this a while. I know you've seen a lot. Number 1, not having a GRIP on your retirement. GRIP is an acronym for Guaranteed Retirement Income Plan.
Sure. Years ago, we have had parents and grandparents who maybe had a pension.
Yeah.
And they count on that. They use that with the Social Security. Maybe a teacher has that pension. They've actually got a little benefit here lately from the government, giving them a little break on their taxation on Social Security. But really, what it comes down to, guaranteed income, is the stuff you can count on day in and day out every month when you go to retire. And really, it's important to kind of understand what is your budget a little bit, right? It's very easy to get into retirement and I have all this money, I have this big nest egg, and begin drawing out. And before you know it, maybe the market was down, you're drawing out a little too fast. Or you find that you need to buy a car and now you're taking a bigger deposit. If you can kind of give a budget and create that guaranteed income, it'll help create a systematic way for you to spend your money a little bit. And then once in a while, if you need to take a bigger chunk, you can.
Mm-hmm. Next is taking inappropriate risks. Taking on too much or even too little can derail your retirement. But how do you know how much risk you should be taking?
Well, I got in this business right after the tech bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Then 9/11 happened, and then we had 2008. And so really that is ingrained in me a lot. It changed how people spent their money. Some people had to work longer. And so really what you have to understand is, what is your tolerance for risk? You really have to understand that it starts with a risk profile. And really, it's not necessarily the score you get. What I'm always looking for is, when you're answering the question, is why are you answering that question in such a way? That helps us bridge that gap of, can this person handle, if we have a swing of 20%, can they wait the maybe 6 months to 2 years for it to come back? And it's very important to be able to measure that as an advisor, and then also for yourself. If you feel like you're up at night worrying about the risk, you probably have a little bit too much risk.
Right. Good point. All right. Mistake number 3, a gross planning mistake, focusing too much on your gross savings, i.e. saving too much in those tax deferred accounts.
Yes. It's a double whammy there, right? You always want to save as much as you can. The challenge is when you are in those tax deferred vehicles, when you go to draw out, it can affect how your Social Security is taxed. It'll increase required minimum distributions. That's when the government starts making you take your withdrawals out of your retirement plans. So what it does, it just makes it a little bit more challenging. You have to be a little bit smarter on how you're doing your draws if we have those sizable accounts. But if we do some of the things we've talked about in the past, as having some money in our checking savings, investing outside of the retirement plans, having a Roth IRA, those are all the pieces that can kind of help bridge that worry.
Mm-hmm. And then mistake number 4 is not having a plan for long-term care, which is really short-sighted, because 7 out of 10 people will need long-term care at some point.
Yes, and I think that the scary part here for a lot of people is it's an unknown. You have to put your faith in whoever you want to be in charge of your well-being. Who's going to handle your finances when you hit that long-term care situation. We've had some people that have come across this, and we've watched it unfold. And if you have everything lined up, whether it's long-term care insurance or not, if you have the plan in place, who's going to be in charge of what, and then who's going to pay the bills, and then you can be there and be worried about yourself and living your life and being comfortable knowing that there's people around you to help take care of you as you progress. But that is definitely one of those pieces where you want to address it. And so that way it's on your terms. Because if you don't address it, what it'll be is on somebody else's terms. That's what you don't want.
Right. And then the last mistake is not optimizing Social Security. Only 4% of people claim Social Security at the most financially optimal time. The remaining 96% are missing out on what comes out to $111,000 per household.
Sure. And this is a funny one. This is a family by family deal. I have some people who say, you know what, I'm going to go all the way to age 70 so I can get the max amount benefit. But I also have those conversations with people saying, hey, my mom and dad didn't live very long, and I'm just going to get that money and collect it. And it says that I'm going to break even at 78 or wherever it is. And really, it's a little bit of a short-sighted vision, okay? Because if you're married and you're collecting that early, you're also locking that in for your spouse in some ways. And so really what you want to do is look into also, if I wait to the full retirement age, let's say it's 65, 66, 67, you're also getting the compounding on a bigger number
Right.
over the next 20 to 30 years potentially.
Hmm.
And so sometimes it doesn't look like a huge dollar amount at the time when you're claiming at 62 versus 67, but collectively over time, if you really look at the numbers, it does make a big difference. And so we always say just get as close to that day that you can get. And even every day that you wait, it goes up a little bit. So
Right.
it's not one thing you wait 62 and have to wait 67. Well, if you change your mind at 64, 65, you can do that. But every day you wait, it goes up a little bit.
Right. Good point. Again, though, that is a very personalized conversation, and I know it's something you specialize in, John. So if somebody wants to talk through any of these mistakes, if they hear themselves in them, what's the best way to reach you?
Yes, 440-471-4300. Give us a call. We also have a website, clarkwealthadvisor.com. Give us a go there and you can click around and see what we're about. And we're pretty easy to find if you look around. And really what we just try to do is help people understand the decisions they're making. We don't judge. Some people, if they want to take a 62, they'll take a 62 and we'll work around it. But I just want to make sure they're empowered and they
Right.
know what the choices are, and then they can just make an educated decision, and then you make a family decision is really what it comes down to.
Right. John, thank you.
Thank you.